Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to continue looking at aggregate functions combined with group clause. Okay, in the previous tutorial I told you that you would not be able to come up with a very insightful report if all you're doing is to use aggregate function alone without combining it with group by clause. So uh, from this tutorial and over the next, let's say, a couple of um, tutorial videos that I'm going to be uploading, we're going to be looking at different business requirements, and that will help us get enough practice on how to use aggregate functions or how to appreciate the flexibility or how powerful aggregate functions are when combined with group by clause. So let's say we have a requirement that says prepare prepare a report that shows salary that shows total salary per department. So we have this requirement. Prepare a report that shows total salary per department. That is total salary for each department. So in order to be able to write the query that meets or that satisfies this requirement, the first thing I would like us to do, and really how this is the process that you might have to adopt when you find yourself in a real world environment, in an enterprise environment. Requirements will come to you like this, and the first thing is not to start writing the query. You want to understand the data you have in the table first. Okay, so this is how I'm going to start the process. Let's look at what we have in the table. Then we'll come back to this requirement. So select star from employees. So I'm running select star from employees. Now the requirement says prepare a report that shows total salary per department. So how many departments do we even have? We need to figure that out, because now what we want to show is in each department, if I had all the salaries of the employees working in each department together, how much will it be? Okay, so let's go to department column. You see, we have sports department, we have tools department. As a matter of fact, let's just do let's do maybe employee ID. Let's just do three columns. Employee ID. We want to see employee ID. Want to see first name, uh, salary. Let me put department and salary. So from employees. So select employee ID, first name, department, and salary from employees. So we have 1,000 records, and by now we should be familiar with the number of records or the number of rows we have in in this table, in employees table. Okay, so looking at the first employee, Barry works in sports department and he earns 154,864. Ariel works in tools and he earns 56,752. So we have different departments. What I want to show you is that we have sport, we have tools, we have clothing, we have phones and tables. See sport again. So Bettina is working in sports. Hardin is working in clothing. So this department is repeating. Okay. So how do we know the distinct number, the unique number of department that we have in this table? Because that's what this requirement is saying. I want you to add Barry salary 154. Go and look for another employee that is working in sports. Go to sports, wherever you find sports, and add that salary together. Okay? Anywhere you find anywhere you find tools, all the employees working in tools add their salary together. All the employees working in clothing add the salary together. All the employees working in phones and tablets add all the salaries together. So what this requirement wants us to do is to prepare a report that shows department, maybe sports, and would add all the salary of those employees working in sport together, and then we have it together here. Tools, let's say we have 20 employees working in tools. The report is going to add all the salary of those employees working in tools together, and then we see the sum of the report here. Okay. So this is just to give you an understanding of what the process looks like, because you don't just jump into writing the query. You really want to make sure you have the data that supports that requirement in the first place. You also want to make sure that you understand the the table and the data in the table you are looking at. Okay, and I'm just trying to take you through the process. Let's see what we have before we start writing the query. So by now you should have a better understanding. You should have a picture of the kind of report that this requirement is expecting us to prepare. So how do I do this? How do I get distinct department and then add all the salaries of those employees working in each department together? Okay, I'm going to remove all this and then we write the query from the scratch. So if I want to see the number of unique departments that I have in this table, and we have looked at this in one of the previous tutorials. So if I say select department from employees, select department from employees, we have 1000 records. So we have 1000 departments. But of course, you know that we don't have up to 1000 departments. Is repeating because we have 1000 employees. So each row shows an employee and all the attribute of that employee. Okay, so we don't have up to 1000 departments, but we just have repeating data here, and that's not what we need now. So we want to add all the occurrence of sports and the salary, all the occurrence of tools and the salary. So how do I get unique department? Then I can come here and say select distinct. Select distinct department from employees. So we can know the actual number of department we have in this table. So if I run this, now we have 27 rows. So pharmacy, if you look through this, you see that nothing is repeating. They are all unique department. We have pharmacy department, we have children clothing, we have camping, games, beauty, computers, tools, maintenance, cosmetics, device repair, furniture, vitamins, sports, plumbing, decor, books. Yeah, like that. So we have 27 unique departments in this table. But that's not what the requirement wants. The report we want to prepare will show total salary for each department. So how do I do that? Then I can say, I'm going to remove this. In order to get total salary, I can say select sum salary. Sum salary means add all the salary together in this table. So I will say select sum salary from employees. And this is the total of all the salaries we have in this table. Now the requirement is saying break this down into departments. So out of this total salary, how much is paid to sports? How much of this is paid to tools? How much of this total salary is paid to clothing? Like that. So we need to break this down into departments, into the 27 unique departments that we have in employees table. That's what this requirement is saying. Prepare a report that shows total salary per department. So how do we break this down into department? Okay, so I want to see department and I want to see sum of salary for each department. So let's put department here because now we want to see two column. So I want to see department, comma, and then I want to see sum of salary for each department. Let's run this query and see what we have. Of course, this is going to throw error and I'll tell you why in a moment. So let's run this. This is the error we have. It says column employees department. So it's referring to this department that we have. This department must appear in the group by clause or be used in an aggregate function. So for us to see this department broken down, or for us to see the total salary broken down into department, it says we must include this department in a group by clause. So I come down here and say group by department. So I want to see the sum of all the salary, the sum of all the employee salary, the 1,000 employees that we have in employees table. I want to see the total of all the salary. And then I want it broken down into department. So I include department here. Now, before I include this department, let me group this by department. Okay, so give me the sum of salary from employees, then group it by department. You are trying to say break it down into department. Let's run this. Now we have it. You see, I will run again. I want you to take note of the number of records. So we have 27 rows. That's 27 department. So this is broken down into department. But will it not be nice if we have a column that shows us what department has this and what department has this and what department has this? Okay, so I can come up here and say, okay, also select department, sum of each department, group by department. So when I run this, now I have it 27 rows. Pharmacy 354, children clothing, this is the total sum of salary. Camping, this is the total sum of salary. If you add all the salary together, it's going to give you the total of all the salary in employee table. This might be a little bit confusing at first, but just think through it. Take your time to think through this. I want to see the total salary in employees table, but I want it broken down by department. So and that's why we have this clause. Okay, so if I remove this department and say select sum of salary, Of course, you know what sum means. We looked at this in the previous tutorial. So add all the salary together from employees. Then break it down into department. So, but the correct syntax to do that is group by. So it's just like you are breaking it down into department. The total salary broken down into department. And if I run this like this, it's not showing me the department. So I come back and say, okay, I also want to see department as well. So I need two columns, department column and a column that shows the total salary for each department. And now when I run this, I have 27 departments. Pharmacy has this total salary. Children clothing has this total salary. Please go over this again and again to understand this concept. This is a concept you don't want to joke with. You need to just understand how this works because you can hardly do without group by and aggregate functions for coming up with insightful reports. Okay, so watch this over and over again. Make sure it makes sense to you. And don't worry, over the next couple of tutorials, we're going to be looking at different requirements where we'll be applying this same um, concept of aggregate function and group by. So you're going to get enough practice. We're going to walk through this together. And on your own, all you need to do is make out time, practice this on your own, think through this query on your own, make sure that it makes sense to you. It doesn't matter how many times you need to watch it. Make out time. That's your own responsibility. I'll try to come up with a couple more of requirements that we're going to walk through together. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.